The following is a listener-supported ministry from the Grace Evangelical Society.
This is Grace in Focus, the radio broadcast and podcast ministry of the Grace Evangelical Society. Today we take you to our National Conference 2023 to interview a family that attended. They want to tell you about their good experience and encourage you to come and join us in May of 2024. This year's Grace Evangelical Society National Conference. You can learn more about us, including the details of that conference, at faithalone.org. Now, with today's program, here is Ken Yates.
Welcome to another episode of Grace in Focus. This is Ken Yates of Grace Evangelical Society. We are here at the annual conference at Camp Copass outside of Denton, Texas. And I have to tell you, I've done a lot of these podcasts. But these are the best guests I've ever had because I've got 4 guests today. And I think this is a first. This is a first for me anyway. They are a lovely family that is here at the conference, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, this is Matt Stopera.
I'm Zoe Stopera.
And how old are you, Zoe?
I'm 11.
Okay.
I'm Megan.
And I'm not going to ask you how old you are, Megan.
Thank
okay.
you.
I'm Ruby.
And Ruby, how old are you?
8.
Okay, so we are here with this lovely family, and the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you become associated, or how did you find out about free grace? Did you grow up in it, or did you online, or what was it? Who wants to take the lead on that?
I can do that.
Okay.
I had a very special friend named Diane Boring many years ago when I was in high school. We went to church together, and we went to a Bible church, and she told us all about free grace. She told us all about how we can be saved and have everlasting life by believing in Jesus. And we were completely confused by that.
Now, was this a Sunday school class, or what was it?
This was just our interactions with Diana's friends.
Oh, okay.
So our Bible church basically taught the truth, but it wasn't real clear on a free grace message. And Diane told us all about everything that we needed to know through our friendship with her. And I was not convinced at first. My mom was definitely not convinced at first. She really had an issue with it. And eventually she came to believe and be convinced that she could have everlasting life through believing in Jesus. And she finally convinced us that that was the truth. And we're very, very grateful for Diane because she is the reason why we're here.
Now, how is Matt in this? Now, you said when you were little or younger. So was that before you were married then?
That was before I was married. That was when I was in high school.
Right.
But I didn't believe until after I was already married to Matt. And that was several years later. We had been going to an independent fundamental Baptist church, and we're not being taught the truth. And that's when my mom convinced us of the truth. And we've been connected to GES since then.
Oh, okay. So you were exposed to the teaching through Diane, but it wasn't until after you all were married. So
right.
Okay. So I'm just curious. Who saw the light first between...
Definitely Megan. Definitely Megan.
I believe I did first, but Matt was starting to go to church before we even met. And he went to a kind of free grace friendly church, and he believes that he did believe for everlasting life before we met, but we're not 100% sure on that. It doesn't really matter. But,
That's true.
But we were clear on it later on.
Okay. So now, how many of these conferences have you come to?
This is our second conference.
So this is your second one. Tell me what you think about it. I'll put it this way, and this is all for all 4 of you now, okay? What do you like most about it?
I like it because it is kind of set apart from other teachings, and it makes more sense than the other stuff that you would hear in other like churches and Bible conferences and stuff that other people have. So it just makes more sense because when like all the speakers have told us like all the different ways that it's wrong, then free grace just makes more sense, believe me.
Grace makes everything clear, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I have to brag on these two kids. We have classes for the kids. I did one of them, and it is amazing how smart these kids are. I mean, not just these two, but all of them. But these two guests here today, y'all, we were talking about when Jesus turned water into wine, and I was asking questions. And the kids knew every one of the answers. Like, what did he do? Where did he get the water? What did he do with the water? It was amazing.
Please plan to join us at Camp Copass in Denton, Texas. The Grace Evangelical Society's 2024 National Conference is May the 20th through the 23rd. Good fun, wonderful fellowship, recreational opportunities for the younger ones and the older ones, great teaching on the theme of free grace in the epistles of Peter. There's VBS for kids, too. More information and online registration now at faithalone.org/events. That's faithalone.org/events. Please come and join us.
Okay, what about the rest of you? What do you like most about it?
I like to talk to people.
You like to talk to people. Well, good. And Megan?
I really enjoy the fellowship, of course. I get to see Ken and Catherine and everybody that we usually get to interact with online, we get to actually see in person, and that's a really huge blessing.
Yes, for those who don't know, we have some Zoom classes during the week, and Megan and Matt are part of that. And so this is a great time for us to do something other than just over Zoom classes.
And this is a camp that you can get together with people that you normally just do online and play games. There's golf and ping pong and all kinds of fun games.
Now, have you got to play putt-putt yet?
Yep.
Do you know, I've been here, and I've never had time to play putt-putt, and I've got to get over there. I've got to get over to play putt.
Yeah.
I know, it's short. Okay.
So what I like about this the most is just the fellowship aspect of it, and it really, it just brings everything together. I really hate leaving, honestly, just because we're flying solo at home. Basically, we have our own home fellowship, but other than that, we don't get to hang around too many free grace people. So
talk a little bit about that, because I hear that a lot in our Zoom classes. People who are in areas where there's like no free grace church.
Right.
So tell me about how you deal with that, and how maybe this conference or GES or both help you in that area.
Oh, well, like I said, it's just really, really difficult when you're out there by yourself. Well, that's what it at least feels like anyway. And when you come here, it's like a revival of your spirit, really. Just everybody's in fellowship, everybody agrees with the same concepts.
I think that there's probably a lot of our listeners who can relate to that. As I mentioned in my presentation, I go to different places, and it's amazing how many times you hear exactly that. Like, gosh, we don't have any like-minded people. We live in a world and in a Christendom where the concept of grace, assurance of eternal life, is in many places almost non-existent. And to come to a place like this, I think Megan mentioned it, the fellowship that we have, how great it is to be around like-minded people like this. Right.
And then when you leave, it's just like, oh, man, just a bummer. It really is.
Yeah, there's so many free grace people here. Oh, no. And I don't think we have too many free grace Christians in our neighborhood or near us.
Right.
Or anything. We do have one neighbor. Her name is Diana.
Oh, almost like Diane. Okay.
Yeah.
Has any of the sessions struck home, helped you particularly in any particular way?
Yeah, me definitely. So I've always, when I like I said, back in 2005 is when I became a believer. I know I had everlasting life, but then when you go to different churches, especially the Fundamental Baptist Church, it was just works-based. So you really get confused when if you're not producing the fruit that the false prophets are talked about there in what is that, John 7?
Matthew 7,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you just start to doubt, like, okay, I'm not doing these things, so am I really saved?
Right.
Really, really saved.
Right.
So,
what about the breakout sessions? the breakout sessions that you have, how do you all do it as a family? I'm just kind of curious. Do you all like, I'm going to go to this one and you go to this one, then and we can do both, or do you go to both together as a husband and wife, or how do you handle that?
Well, we usually go both together with the kids.
Right.
They're always with us. Really.
Wow, look at that. So what do you all think for the little ones here? What do you all think of when you get into the smaller groups? What do you think of those little breakout sessions?
Well, I think that the breakout sessions are a good way to talk to everybody and get a chance to know people that you didn't know that are in like the same faith as you.
Right.
And have some fun together and shoot some hole-in-ones.
Oh, so afterwards you're going to go and play putt-putt.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Megan?
I have really enjoyed several of the breakout sessions. Matt and I sometimes have different interests or things that we're interested in learning about. And,
right.
I really enjoyed Bob Bryant's session about, I think it was Romans 10:9.
Right.
I have a lot of friends who use those verses as salvation verses, and it was great to hear him really explain that, and I learned a lot from that.
Okay, now I want to ask you, can you think of something that you learned that you didn't know before? Because like I said, I had you in class and you're an awful smart girl, so maybe you already know everything that's being discussed, but did you learn anything new?
Well, I probably learned that we need to be more careful on how we look for things in the Bible, that if we want to talk to people about Jesus, I think we need to know the whole picture instead of just a little piece of it. And I think I learned that we need to just talk to people more about God and stuff.
Yes, there's a lot of people, even our churches, and I know you all know this, who don't know about the grace of God. They don't know about eternal life. And I guess it's probably good for you. I just realized it's probably good for you to be here, to be around Diane boring,
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So do you all get together to have fellowship sometime with her? Because I know her family's here as well.
Yes, we've talked to her multiple times, and it's very neat to be able to reconnect with her in this way, because I'm sure when I was a teenager, she prayed for me and cared about my destiny, and here we are together at a conference.
I know her well enough to know that she's thrilled to see you all here as well.
She's so sweet.
Yes. I just want to say that I've just really enjoyed having you all here. And like I said, this is my favorite interview yet on any of these podcasts, having you four. This is a first for me, so thank you. I know that grace has made an impact in your life. And to all of our listeners, remember, keep grace in focus.
We invite you to check out our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 5-minute YouTube videos at YouTube Grace Evangelical Society. You will love the content and learn a lot. There are a lot of costs involved in staying on the air. That's why we so much appreciate our financial partners. If you'd like to learn how to become one, you can find out more by going to faithalone.org. On the next episode, we return to our question and answer format, Is forgiveness optional? If not, why is it so hard to do? Join us, and until then, let's keep grace in focus.
The proceeding has been a listener-supported ministry from the Grace Evangelical Society.